Hey everyone, it's November 9th, about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. And first of all, the video is not investment advice. Second of all, I like to talk about where I started off in the last video. Now, I know I talked about both sides of the trade, okay? And some people, for some reason, get offended when I do that, as they think I'm just teeter-tottering 50-50, so I can be right either way. That's not the point. The point is, when you're within a symmetrical triangle, basic technical analysis, there is a 50-50 probability of direction, okay? Now, everyone knows me that's been following me, that's a subscriber, that I might as well just be the bear of crypto. I guess that should realistically be my YouTube channel name. And I don't say it like with pride. I would rather talk about this on the upside. But I always kind of have that dark cloud looming over every single video. And this is why. I mean, it's a pretty convincing push, right? Like, everybody thinks like that's it. It's going to the moon, blah, blah. Like, everyone's going to get magically rich. Lamborghini dreams, you know? And quite honestly, I don't even think those Lamborghinis are on the moon anymore. I think they've just been covered in moon dust or whatever, to where you can't even visually see them anymore because they've been up there for so long and so many dreams have been broken on them. And of course, I'm being facetious and adding a little bit of comedy to it, but the reality of this market is that sellers dominate this market, and there's a lot of hype for a market that is clearly dominated by sellers. And what this is doing is hammering price into a tighter range. Now, like I've said in the past, that as price hammers into this tighter range, it's essentially building energy like it would on a spring that you're coiling tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Eventually, it's going to snap and produce a big move. So we're within a symmetrical triangle. Very simple, basic technical analysis that anyone could draw on this chart, right? Like, you don't need me to draw this triangle on this chart for you. But this simple, basic technical analysis can lead to false moves, which I talked about in my prior video, and lure traders into a trap. So what I mean by that is that if Bitcoin starts to drop out and quickly comes back up and quickly comes right back up, it could be a fake out move as in a bear trap to a bull run, and vice versa. That's why I talked about the video the way that I did, because where we're at, there's a 50-50 probability. Anyone's fooling themselves, they know exactly which way the symmetrical triangle is going to break. It's just simple, basic technical analysis, but it can be a powerful technical indicator because many of the retail traders in this market is highly comprised of retail traders that are very new to trading. And it's not talking bad about anyone. It's just the nature of this beast. There's a lot of people that are they're more informed about what Bitcoin is and cryptocurrencies and the uses of it, and everyone's hyped up on the fundamental aspects of it, versus coming in as well-versed traders that have been in the market for decades and they know exactly how to navigate the markets and understand everything. So there's just a crowd of newer people, and the same thing happens in the stock market too. We get new retail traders every single day, and you know what the big players call these individuals is dumb money. And I don't say it as being demeaning, but the reason why I say it is just to open everybody's eyes to the potential lures that are being set. And this market is like, I feel like we're a bunch of little fish inside of like a kiddie pool, and there's literally hooks with bait everywhere. Everywhere you can see, more than I've ever seen in any market. And this is unfortunately due to not only the mainstream media, but just the social media as well too. So it's being peppered, all this hype, guaranteed dreams, Lamborghinis, blah, 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 multiple homes and yachts and etc. And I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but there's a reason why I talk about these videos the way that I do is because I don't want people watching these videos to get hyped up into this. You need to look at this objectively. You need to step back from the hype and get the crazy 20,000 figures, 50,000 figures, 100,000 figures out of your mind and start to see what the chart is telling you. And what the chart is telling you is very simple, that obviously we're in a downtrend. We are building higher lows, but there is a massive washing of volume. Now you can go to a basic site like this, coinmarketcap.com. That's all I look at. And we have pumped up in volume, but we're slowly starting to dwindle back down. Now, as we make these moves up, the volume comes in and it starts to come out actually toward the top of these. And I noticed that right around here. So did my subs as well too. And it happens time and time again. This is why I talk about Bitcoin the way I do, because it's very repetitive in nature, and I try to bring that up. And unfortunately, I do these videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and some of them sound literally identical, as if I should have just taken the video and just reposted it. But I used to talk about the markets daily until this kept happening, and I was like, all right, I'll talk about it every other day. But now it's to a point to where it's like I should almost talk about it just once a week due to the crazy repetitive nature of this market. But anyways, so the technical aspect of it, okay, so real quick before I tell you about the technical, just so like everyone knows, I don't mean to rant on, I don't mean to sound demeaning toward people or anything like that. That's not the point. I just want people to be more objective and to not focus so much on the hype that is out there and think that it's guaranteed one way or the other, especially when we're in a symmetrical triangle. So, and to look for the potential traps. So I know it's not investment advice, but I know a lot of people watching this are investing, and I say in my videos every single time, you need to have an investment strategy. You need to have stops in place. This market is very unforgiving, and the drops are becoming very harsh. Okay, there's very little relief to these drops, and I can show you as in proof when Bitcoin used to drop out. Of course, it would make moves, but it would spike back up and have a little bit of relief, right? It wasn't a lot, but now as things progress, it's just, I mean, just dropping out ruthlessly, cutting people apart. And unfortunately, it's not big traders, it's the small traders that enter in these markets hyped up on this getting cut out. I mean, you could have easily been this person up here, you know, or those people up there, and that's horrible. So anyways, the technical side of it is that I've talked about this, like 60, it was 6,200, it slowly bumped up to 6,300. Here we are at 6,300. If we break through this mark, okay, the 6,300 mark, and Bitcoin cannot get back above 6,300, there is a lot of energy coiling up with inside of the symmetrical triangle. With inside the symmetrical triangle, we clearly have a horizontal consolidation. Now, it's not as pretty as most horizontal consolidations would normally be, but clearly this is the horizontal consolidation. Yeah, there's some outside price activity, but you can see that not only is it there, but it's mainly right here. And look at all this tight energy building up. This can lead to very powerful moves. So if Bitcoin breaks through 6,300, it cannot get back above, more than likely that power, that all that energy is going to be expended to the downside, and we could easily exceed the 5750 bottom. If Bitcoin breaks up outside of 6,500, can stay above the 6,500 zone, then that energy could easily be expended back upward, and that could launch us above the recent high of 7,700, almost 7,800. So again, there's a lot of power in here, and it can literally go either way. The only thing I do not like about this market, and that I have not liked, and the reason why, again, I'm so bearish on this market, is at the end of the day, it's under seller control, and every rally is being hammered harder and harder and harder, okay? So it just gets very, very tough for me to look at this market objectively, okay, and try to hype people up into this fantasy number of 20,000 or this bull market, and that's it. All we needed was just get to the fourth quarter of 2018 and we're gonna moonshot, you know. And instead, all we've done is just dwindled and dwindled and dwindled and dwindled, and prices being consolidated and consolidated and consolidated, and the selling pressure is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And if this does move lower, it is going to be brutal for a lot of people that got stuck up on that hype, that got lured into this trap. Okay, so, and this video reaches a lot of people. I think they're like, on the average viewer content's like 750 to 1,000. It's not a lot, but if this can help one person, and if this helped people avoid this, it's more than worth it. And I don't care about, you know, the trolls in the comment section. It's fine. You're going to have them anywhere, no matter what you do. But that's the point of these videos, is to help people look at it objectively. And sometimes you miss out on some of the runs, or sometimes you miss out on some of the drops if you're trying to short. And that's just the nature of the beast. But the overall trend is clearly down. And like I talked about in the future, things were going to get hammered down in the past, things were going to get hammered down and hammered down and hammered down. And here we are, moving down. A lot of people didn't believe me. A lot of people trolled me on it. And here we are, you know. So the charts are telling us things. The market's telling us things. The players managing this market are telling us things. And we're at a very crucial point where it easily could go either way. So I gave everyone the zones to look for. As long as we can stay outside of those zones, Bitcoin's going to either drop very hard or it's going to rise very fast. And I would like to see it move upward versus downward, but I think there's a lower probability of upside than there is downside, due to what is happening in this market, due to what the charts are telling us, and due to the selling pressure literally snowballing, essentially. But anyways, I hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see what transpires over the week. Most weekends are like a zero, meaning that what happens on Friday is typically negated by Sunday. And then the market will then make its move. So we'll see what transpires. I don't imagine much, but coming into next week, we're definitely going to have an answer on this market, and this energy could be enough to either continue severe downside or change the overall trend of Bitcoin and start a decent rally going into 2019. So again, hope everybody has a great weekend, great night, great day, depending on where you are in the world. I'll talk to everybody on Monday. If you do like the video, you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, and have a great night.